A visit to the park. A cool, refreshing drink on a hot summer day. It's where we live, where we work, and even play. From the smallest creature to people, plants, and animals alike, we all depend on water. Texas is growing, and so are our demands for more water. But where does that leave wildlife? They need water every day, just like us. Unfortunately, they can't ask for more water, and they can't cut back their need for water to survive.
Our population needs water to drink, to water their lawns, for industry, for agriculture, to produce food. And so the demand for water has grown steadily throughout our history. The source of that water, our rivers, our streams, our springs, is also the source of water for our wildlife. And they have no choice in the matter. They have to be there and they have to have it.
By the year 2050, well within our children's lifetime, Texas expects to double its population. Nearly half the water needed by cities may not be available. The impact on fish and wildlife could be even more dramatic. We must start conserving water now, every way we can.
Ten years ago, 25% of our fish species were in trouble or already extinct. Today, that number's grown to almost half. That's bad news. That tells us our water resources really are in jeopardy.
The consequence of wildlife without water will be unpleasant and costly. We will surely lose vital parts of nature, including the aquatic life that inhabit wetlands, as well as resources for ecotourism, hunting, sport fishing, and commercial fishing.
Blue crab, shrimp, and oysters are our most valuable fisheries on the Texas coast. And believe it or not, they, like all other things, rely on a good source of clean, fresh water coming down to the coast from the rivers inland.
Earth may look like the water planet, but most of Earth's water is locked up in oceans and ice. People and wildlife have only a finite amount of usable fresh water. This usable fresh water exists in various forms, from springs and streams to rivers and reservoirs, and even in areas we can't see, like underground pools of water known as aquifers. Nature feeds our water sources through areas we call watersheds. When rain falls, the water works its way down over the landscape. Some of the water flows into lakes, streams, or rivers, and some water travels underground to aquifers. Water from the aquifers can seep out of the ground at lower elevations in the form of springs. The springs, in turn, feed the various rivers, streams, and reservoirs that populate our landscape. This is how nature intended things to work. But as we've built over natural areas, we've altered the watershed.
Drainage areas like this one behind me were originally constructed to control erosion and flooding. But what they also do is heat the water and lower the oxygen content. That's not good for fish and wildlife, and it's not good for us. The only things that live here are algae and mosquitoes.
When water is diverted from its natural flow, we can easily see the results on the surface. But what about the impact to the water we don't see? Aquifers depend on water flowing back into them, called recharge. Texas has many underground aquifers. Some aquifers recharge very slowly. The Ogallala Aquifer lies under much of West and North Texas. Rainfall only contributes an average of 1/4 inch per year to this aquifer. That recharge time is an urgent concern because water from the Ogallala is being pumped out faster than it is being replenished. Other aquifers, like the Edwards in Central Texas, are under very porous surface areas. During recharge, the water seeps in quickly, but it can also more easily carry pollution from the streets and fields. It may be hard to imagine, but just about anything can pollute an aquifer.
Illegal dumping contaminates the watersheds and tributaries. That means our drinking water and water for fish and wildlife too.
We're all part of the same system. And it doesn't matter whether we're talking about water quantity or water quality. Water affects all of us, and wildlife too. Our rivers, our streams, and springs are not what they used to be. Many of them have dried up, and the sad truth is we caused that. If we're going to do something about it, we need to start now.
So what will you do to help preserve our most important natural resource? Tricia Benitez landscaped her home with native plants. David Bamberger restored native grasslands that allowed natural springs to flow again on his property. The citizens of San Antonio have reduced their water consumption by 17% since year 2000. These people made a difference for wildlife. You can too.
The idea of conserving water is pretty simple, and it's incremental. Every little drop counts. If a few of us save a little water, that's good. If a whole town saves water, that's even better. But think what it would be if an entire state saved water, because then we would have enough water for all of us and wildlife too, because wildlife is facing a serious threat. They can't do anything about it. We can conserve water, and if we conserve water, that means we save wildlife.
Together, we can do it. We can save water for all of us.